What's going on, everybody? It's ETAPRIME back here again. Today, we're going to be taking a look at the Z2-powered Legion Go 2. On the channel, we've already taken a look at the Legion Go 2 with the Z2 Extreme. I've made several videos, even installing real SteamOS on it. But I definitely wanted to get my hands on this version because I say this in quotations, it's the cheaper variant. Now, both of these are pretty expensive, but this is coming in $250 cheaper than the Z2 Extreme model, so I was wondering if it would be worth it. We still get that beautiful 8.8-inch 144Hz OLED display. It's native landscape and supports VRR. And in my opinion, it's the best display on the market right now for a handheld gaming device. It's got the detachable controller so we can go into FPS mode, a 74 watt-hour battery. Basically, the only difference here is the RAM amount and the APU used in this version of the Legion Go 2. This one's based on Zen 4. We have 8 cores, 16 threads, and the Z2 Extreme model is based on Zen 5 with 8 cores and 16 threads. The CPU configuration is a bit different, but the overall look and feel is exactly the same. And I gotta say, it's a really good looking handheld, especially when it comes to this 8.8-inch OLED display. Again, in my opinion, it's the best screen that we've seen in a handheld gaming device so far. Supports HDR, it's an OLED panel, so we get those super deep blacks, very vibrant colors. It supports variable refresh rate, and it's native landscape. Around back, we've got those extra programmable buttons. We've also got the locking mechanisms for the removable controllers. They also added some really nice textured grip to these controllers on the Legion Go 2. Plus, we've got a single fan cooling system in this unit. Down here at the bottom, we have access to a 3.5mm audio jack, micro SD card slot for expanding the storage, and a USB 4 port. And over here on the bottom of the right-hand side controller, we've got that FPS switch. Moving around to the top of the unit, the Legion Go 2 actually uses upward firing stereo speakers. They sound pretty good. We've also got our volume rocker, another USB 4 port, and our power/fingerprint sensor. And you see we've got that LED indicator around that Legion button. This will change colors depending on which performance mode we're in. And inside of the box, along with the Legion Go 2, we get a 65-watt power supply. And keep in mind, this does support 100-watt charging. You can use a separate GAN charger for that. There's a pogo pin cover for the right-hand side controller and our FPS mode base. We'll take a look at this in just a bit, but I wanted to go over the specs here because, like I mentioned, this is a bit different from the Z2 Extreme model, but it's not far off from the Z1 Extreme APU. In fact, it kind of looks like it might just be a rebranded chip. So what we've got here is the AMD Ryzen Z2. It's based on Zen 4. We've got 8 cores, 16 threads, a base clock across the board of 3.3 GHz, and a boost up to 5.1 on all 8 cores. If you remember, the Z2 Extreme actually has a lower clock on some of the C cores, so it's a bit different here, but we're working with Zen 4 versus Zen 5 over there. This also has a 12 compute unit RDNA3 based iGPU. It'll clock up to 2700 MHz, 16 gigabytes of RAM running at 7500 megatransfers per second, and I really do wish they would have added at least 24 gigs to this unit. Got a 1TB 2280 M.2 SSD, 8.8-inch 144Hz OLED display with VRR. It'll do from 33 Hz up to 144 with a variable refresh rate. Resolution of 1920 by 1200, 97% DCI-P3, 500 nits of brightness, and it does support HDR. A 74 watt-hour battery, and this does support their super rapid charge, so up to 100 watts, and it weighs 2.38 pounds, so it's a pretty heavy device. I said it with the Z2 Extreme model, but I do think that this is a really comfortable handheld. Does fall short of the Legion Go S, which in my opinion is still the most comfortable handheld on the market. Moving around back here, you can easily reach all of these buttons. We've got some nice linear triggers around back. Again, it's 2.38 pounds, so holding this thing up, without any rest for long periods of time, this thing does get kind of heavy. D-pad feels pretty decent. It's the same one that we tested on the Z2 Extreme, but overall, it's a great feeling device. Very premium, and with these detachable controllers, there's no flex on them. If you wanted to hold it up by the side of just one of them, you could definitely do it. They detach really easily with those locking mechanisms around back, and now we can go into FPS mode. So we can grab the base for the right-hand controller, and we've got that pogo pin cover. This just kind of makes it look a little nicer when it's on. But we'll just set this right down in, and it's actually going to lock in here. It's got a little spring-loaded lock. Now we can set this up in FPS mode. We'll just flip that switch and we're good to go. We can go ahead and throw this over here. Again, just for kind of aesthetics, in my opinion, it does look good like this. But I'll tell you, I mean, when I first saw this with the original Legion Go, I thought it was very gimmicky. And even today, there are people out there that probably don't use it much, but it works way better than I ever thought it would. And especially on the new Legion Go, too. I've got Doom: The Dark Ages running right now, and I haven't had to adjust anything. Usually I've got to go into the settings and just kind of adjust the mouse speed. Basically, what the right-hand controller is doing is working as our mouse. It's got a ton of extra buttons on it. We've even got a scroll wheel on it, and that'll allow us to change weapons in most games. And the left-hand side controller, it's going to work as kind of half a controller with that analog stick and D-pad. But yeah, I've actually had a lot of fun playing it like this. And just to show you, we've got the AMD Ryzen Z2. It's the non-extreme, and if we go down to that iGPU, it's actually a Radeon 780M. So it's basically the same thing that we saw in the Z1 Extreme. And I will have a full video coming up very shortly facing the Z2 off against the Z2 Extreme version, so keep an eye out on the channel. Up front on the Legion Go 2, we've got a couple extra buttons. Over here on the left-hand side, we've got our Legion Space button. It's going to open up Legion Space. And over on the right-hand side, we've got a quick menu button. We've just got our quick menu for Legion Space over here. And I do want to get in here a bit deeper and show you everything that's going on. So I'm going to swap over to my game capture and give you a look at the software. As we saw, over on the left-hand side of the unit, we've got our Legion button, and we press this, it's going to bring us right into Legion Space, and the first thing you're going to be presented with is the store area. From here, we've got our PC games, there's cloud gaming, Xbox Game Pass, all games, and moving down, you can see there are some discounts from a company known as VIP. I personally haven't bought anything from here, and most of these are going to be Steam. If you take a close look, you get a little Steam logo there, but I have seen a few from Epic and GOG in here, so just keep that in mind. At the very top, on the left-hand side, we've got our profile, and if you've got a Legion account profile, you can sign in from here. Not sure if there's any rewards or anything like that, and once you take screenshots, it'll be listed right in the screenshot area. Taking a look at our library, basically all of our games and applications we have installed just in kind of the default locations. You can always add a new game, you can refresh, and there's not a lot here, but it does get the job done. If we go to options, we can open the game, uninstall, remove, or we can cancel from there. And if I try to start, let's say, Borderlands 4, it's going to give me a warning because I do have something else running in the background. So don't start a new game, directly launch a new game, or close running games and start a new game. Gives you a warning just in case you've got something else up and running. Next up, we've got our settings, and this is where I spend a lot of time, but I want to move over to controllers real quick, because this is actually one of my favorite little interfaces for these handhelds, Legion Space. And when it first released a few years ago, it wasn't great. But the way this is set up, it does look really nice. We've got our controllers. We've also got our battery percentage on both of those controllers. Button mapping, you can go through, remap everything in gamepad mode, or you can remap it in desktop mode. We've also got that FPS mode. Joystick lighting, totally disable it. There's a few effects that we can use from here directly. Dynamic color, blinking, solid. I personally like that spiral rainbow. But if we go to, let's say, a solid color, change it to purple, and then move back to settings, you can see that all of the colors changed here. It's very minute, but it really does kind of add to the whole interface. From joystick settings, we can change the dead zones. From trigger settings, we can set up the trigger travel from here. And it's 5% up to 95, but you can go, 0 to 100% if you want to. That was just kind of default. We've also got our gyro settings, and I'm not a huge fan of using a gyro. I mean, I know some people out there love it. You can enable it, disable it, and you can also set this up in several different ways. As right stick, so basically, while you're using the gyro, moving the unit around, it's going to work as the right stick. You can do it as the left stick. You can simulate a mouse. Lots of settings here, plus we've got sensitivity here. Controller calibration, and we've also got more. Controller mode, controller vibration, vibration mode, and there's a few to choose from. I really can't tell a difference between them. Touchpad can be totally disabled. Also have vibration with that. I leave the vibration on weak here, but you can go up to strong with it if you want to. You can test the inputs, battery status, controller firmware update, and it gives you your controller version right here. Really, they make it easy to use the gyro, FPS mode. You can remap every button on this unit. It's really up to you. But from settings is where it gets really interesting because we've got our performance mode. We've got display, audio, disks and drives. You've got general. But when it comes to performance, we've got several different modes that we can use. So quiet mode, just out of the box on battery, this is going to be an 8-watt TDP. Great for low-end 2D games, lots of emulators. Everything's going to run great. You'll see awesome battery life there. You can also change the OS power mode through each one of these profiles. So I'm in performance right now, but with like quiet mode, I usually go to efficiency, and that'll give us even better battery life. Even though we're still at an 8-watt TDP, it's actually going to limit the clock still over there, and this will give you some pretty decent battery life running indie games. Balanced mode is a 16-watt TDP on this device. Performance mode is going to take us up to a 20-watt TDP. That's on battery. Now, I think plugged into the wall, it might go up a bit further, but we've also got a custom mode here. FPPT, this is going to be a 10-second boost, up to 45 watts in total. SPPT, this is a 2-minute boost up to 37 watts. And the SPL is a sustained TDP of 35 watts. So we can go all the way up there. We can also fully adjust the fan curve here. So if you want to go full speed, it does get pretty loud. I usually just set it up for performance mode if I'm going up this high. But there's also a smart mode. And for this, we do need to just go to one of these. But I can go to smart mode. And basically, it's going to try to dynamically adjust that TDP to give you the best battery life and performance. It's still kind of, when I'm running like a AAA game in performance mode, it's still going to go up to that 20 watt. We've got a little boost up to around 25 for 2 minutes with this setup here. But I'm just talking about that sustained power limit. So 8 watts quiet, 16 balanced, and 20 watts performance. Now, along with all of that, we've also got our quick menu. So over on the right-hand side of the Legion Go 2, we'll press this, and we can access this at any time. At the top, performance, so you can change all of that directly from here while you're in a game. Settings like our brightness, volume, Bluetooth. We can change the resolution. We can change the refresh rate. And as you can see right here, 60 to 144. Frame monitor. Turning this on will give us an on-screen performance monitor. Got a normal. You've also got a simple. Just makes it easy to kind of see what kind of FPS you're getting in a game. Still got that Radeon Super resolution down here. Controller mode, you can adjust from here. Quick settings, so if you want to do a screenshot, disable Wi-Fi, all that good stuff. And for external displays, you can set the external display as your primary. So it will kind of default to that 16:9, which most monitors out there are, even though the built-in screen is a 16:10. So for what we have here with Legion Space, it works out really well on the new Legion Go 2. Getting into a couple performance benchmarks, and like I mentioned, I will be facing this off against the Z2 and even the Z1 in a future video, so keep an eye out. But when it comes to Geekbench 6 in performance mode, we scored a 2,444, a little over 11,000 multi-core. And moving over to 3D Mark Time Spy at a 25-watt TDP, just to kind of give you a sneak peek here, right at the top, we've got the AMD Ryzen Z2. That's the device we're on right now. RAM is running at 7,500 megatransfers per second. We got a total score of 3,285 at a 25-watt TDP. Moving down a bit, on the left-hand side, we've got the Z1 Extreme, same speed RAM, and it's actually scoring around 3,017, so coming in below what the Z2's doing. But if we take a look at that Z2 Extreme at a 25-watt TDP, it is beating out the Z2 and the Z1, and it's got faster RAM. It's running at 8,000 megatransfers per second. And just taking a look at the graphics and CPU score, yeah, we are coming ahead of what that Z2 and Z1 are doing, and I kind of expected this, but it's not a huge jump at a 25-watt TDP when you compare it to the AMD Ryzen Z2. And the first one we have here is Forza Horizon 5, 1200p, medium, 16-watt TDP, so we're in balance mode. These linear triggers work really well for these racing games. You just give it a little bit of gas. They're pretty accurate. And moving into some gameplay, this is working absolutely amazingly. So I'm not using any scaling right now, and this is kind of my go-to test for these handhelds. It's definitely an easier one to run, and a lot of them run it really well, as you can see here. At a 16-watt TDP, we're getting around 73 FPS on average at medium settings, 1200p. And it's really hard to get across how good this screen looks in a YouTube video. I'm not sure if Best Buy has any kiosks set up, but yeah, if you get a chance to see this thing, you're gonna love it. It looks so good. I just went ahead and set this down stationary to make it a little easier on myself. And we've got Cyberpunk 2077. We're at 1600 by 1000 Steam Deck preset, 30-watt TDP. Since we've got that 16 by 10 aspect ratio, we can't really go down to a 900p and get that full screen experience. So it's 1600 by 1000, super close to 900p. And it's not quite at 60. I didn't think it would hit 60 like this, but we can get a lot more out of this game by enabling FSR frame gen. I've taken the TDP down to 25 watts from 30 and the resolution up to 1200p. So we're at 1920 by 1200. Still using the Steam Deck preset, but now we've got FSR frame gen turned on. We're seeing an average of around 84 FPS. And this is how I personally play Cyberpunk on a handheld. I mean, with any of them, I do like to get pretty decent battery life. So enabling frame gen here really helps out with that. And I don't need to take it up to 1200p. I could run this at 20 watts. 1600 by 1000 and see around the same kind of performance. I also wanted to test out Elden Ring. We're at 1600 by 1000, medium settings, 25 watt TDP, and it's doing a really good job. I mean, you'll see it fall down 59, sometimes even as low as 57. But with that frame counter completely off, given that we've got a variable refresh rate displayed, the game feels great. And we've got those dips, but that's kind of normal. Even on the Z1 Extreme up to around 30 watts and the Z2 Extreme at 25 watts, we're seeing around the same kind of performance out of both of those chips when you compare it to this Z2. And finally, Borderlands 4, just a really hard game to run on these iGPUs, 800p, low, FSR, frame gen on, 30 watt TDP. And as soon as I bring my shield up or I use my special ability, you'll see the shield on the side. You can definitely see that frame gen working, kind of skipping those frames there, a little bit of ghosting going on. And I've not really had great luck on any iGPU with this game so far, except for something that comes in like the AMD Ryzen AI Max Plus 395, which is a really expensive chip. So first impressions here, yeah, I mean, I've already taken a look at the Ryzen Z2 Extreme-powered Legion Go 2. We've got the same form factor, same screen. It is my favorite screen on a handheld gaming PC so far. The whole unit is super comfortable. It's got a premium design along with a premium price tag. I love the built-in controls and the fact that we can detach these and go to FPS mode is just a plus. When it comes to performance on the Z2 versus, let's say, the Z2 Extreme, I believe that Z2 Extreme is going to beat this out in most cases, especially at those lower TDPs, but it's not going to beat it out by that much. And again, I'll have that full video coming up, the Z2 versus the Z2 Extreme versus the Z1. So if that's something you'd be interested in seeing, make sure you hit that like button and think about subscribing. And by the end of the week, I'll have a full review video with this. We'll do some battery life testing and everything like that. I just kind of want to face it off against the others to see really which one would be worth picking up. But that's going to wrap it up for this one. If you're interested in learning a little more about the Lenovo Legion Go 2, I'll leave links in the description. And if there's anything else you want to see running on this thing in the full review, just let me know in the comments below. And like always, thanks for watching.